Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our, what day is it today? Wednesday morning trading room, hump day. Halfway through the trading week. It is Wednesday, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Well, today, big FOMC meeting out. Yesterday's session was a slow, painful grind, as we suspected it might be. The morning, pretty quiet. It did put in a little bit of a rally. And then in the afternoon, it tailed off a little bit. And then I guess they did pick up a little bit going into the close, bringing the market back near the highs. The overnight also very, very quiet. I'm afraid that that may be the scene here for today as well. Very often, markets that are news driven, and I'm kind of saying that in air quotes, you can't see me, but I'm using air quotes, news driven. They'll be a little bit quiet. Usually the day of, sometimes the day before a major report, an FOMC release certainly applies. But to see the market kind of stall a couple days out, that's a little more rare. But we'll see what we get. Right now, the Hawk, very, very neutral, as you can tell with all these yellow bars clustering more or less the same price level. The filter all broken up. That's screaming neutral market to you. The Falcon, swing trader, also very neutral. The trading filter breaking up here like almost like a tartan. It's all over the place, all the different colors. The swing high is trying to get a little bit more bullish, perhaps. And then, of course, we have the Eagle Trend Trader. This would be your first in sync signal of the day. So those of you who like to do that signal, there it is right there. You could even do a second push. You know what? I haven't done one of those for a long time. Let's demonstrate that one here this morning. All we're doing is we're looking for the first in sync signal. So that means we have a bullish band. So we're going to look for our first buy signal of the day. Did they slip me? No, they didn't. Hoorah. And that signal does tend to have some pretty decent follow through. Although yesterday we took considerable heat before the market finally rallied up. I'll look here just out one more day. So here was our first in sync signal the day before, and it too rallied up. Looks like it did find the high probability profit target before backing off a little. So let's see what we're going to get here today. You Raptor traders don't need to feel left out. You can do that as well on the Raptor. So again, the band is stacked in the bullish fashion. So you're going to ignore the counter trend. Here is your first in sync signal. Oh, I guess maybe this one right here. Regardless, if you didn't get the first one, you got the second one. There's your first in sync signal. Personally, I'm not a fan of early signals. Can I just get a sound check here? James seems to be having some difficulty with the sound. Can Okay, all good. Thank you, folks. All right, I'll just let him know. There we go. This would be, I guess, this Friday is the last day for rolling over from the June contract. Almost everybody will be in September by now. I think I was mentioning how I'm not always a fan of early signals. Come on, let's get going. There we go. There we go. Oh, spoke too soon. Still really stuck. All right, well, let's bring this to the forefront. Well, they're trying. And, as I said, we're kind of expecting a little bit of a grinding kind of day today. And they are not disappointing. Wow, come on. Can we not even get one bar in our favor? Just one? All right, time to get really sticky here now with my stops. I'm going to enable my parabolics. There we go. That's all you get. Essentially back to the hard edge of the trading band. If they can't push higher, okay, they can't, but may as well let me out now. Okay, hold on. James is still having sound problems. Hey, Vincent. No, I haven't forgotten about you. I sent you an email last night. Let me just make sure. Okay, well, they backed up on us there. Okay, Vincent, I just resent the email. And look at those stinkers. They come down here, they just tag me at the hard edge, and now they're trying to head higher again. Yeah, Mark says it's sure stuck without much follow through this morning. I really think it's that FOMC meeting that is looming. We're just going to see a slow rather painful grind. Um, when you do trade in this kind of market, it's probably best to scalp. You know, I took a little $50-$60 tag on that one. I probably could have had a $50 profit if I had taken it. Either that, or you just leave the big stop. Oh, Vincent, don't apologize. Vincent says, I'm sorry, I didn't see your earlier email. Don't apologize. This is the internet. It does all kinds of funky stuff sometimes. Well, you know, if I had to choose a trend, the eagle, the raptor, and to a lesser extent the hawk and the falcon all looking a little bit bullish, although they do seem to be struggling a bit, don't they? We're trading above yesterday's and the overnight highs, I believe. Nope, sorry, my error, didn't quite reach the overnight high yet. Speaking of scalping, here is now a first micro macro cross higher, and it looks like we even get a chance at a second push on that one. Now, the first micro macro cross is your first in sync signal. So in this case, your micro line, that's a thin one, macro line, they cross over. This is your first signal here where everything is in sync. So you have green bars, green trend lines, green filter, green signal. Here the market's a little jumbled. The signal printed just as the macro line came into sync. And when the market is quiet like this, very often using a second push strategy is not a bad way to go either. So the second push simply means we allow the signal to engage, we see where the market is flinching, where it reacts, and then we use that particular level as our entry point. And now we are tailing off again. The Raptor here, you know, you get this candy striping going on in the background. That's just screaming to you again that we've got ourselves a very, very sideways market. The hawk now into yellow bars, so I'm going to cancel this order. Now we almost seem to be holding the highs. If this is actually a great big trading range, it may be easier to see here on the Eagle. We've been dealing a lot with trading ranges lately. If this is a really big trading range, we're probably going to expect some selling up here. Oh, look at that. It is slow, it is painful, and yet it remains bullish. Those crazy bears. They just can't get it together. I suspect volume is a little bit light. And we almost have a bracketable range here now. We've been doing a lot of those too, haven't we? A lot of bracket style trades. So we've got ourselves a quick little top here. And we're going to get that 2-3-2 formation where we get the counter trend signal, we get the hard edge bounce, and then we're going to come back with another counter trend. That one may be worth trying to short. So I'm going to go in manual mode just so I have only one contract in play. I'm going to get my stops ready. We had a couple warning dots, but no signal just yet. And now when the signal produces, this was a number 2 signal that attempted to print. There we go. Here we got the warning dot. Or actually what I could do is we could, rather than do it that way, we could just look, I could set up to short. No, never mind. I was going to do a second push on this signal. Nope. No, let's go with plan A. Let's wait for the market to actually break down and give us a signal. No? All right. Well, the signal didn't play out the way I thought, but that's okay. We did not get on the wrong side of the trade, and that's the more important part. Thanks for the vote of confidence there, Scott. Scott says I'm crazy for trying to short. Yes, Scott. Scott's nailed it on the head here. He says, well, there's no indicator or tool for this market except for unplugging your mouse. And that's about it. Let's see, I know I got tagged early here, but I'm curious if that first in-sync signal has found its target yet. Nope, not yet. Wow. Just out of curiosity, let's take a look here at the daily. And, well, volume really light so far. We'll see how the rest of the day progresses. These big volume bars are probably due to the rollover more than actual buying. Okay, here now another first micro macro cross right near the highs. You may be saying, oh, wait a minute, Eric, the micro line and macro lines didn't cross. How can that be a first micro macro cross? Well, you have to remember what the first micro macro cross is showing you, namely a market that is all out of sync and then a market that comes back into sync. That's what makes a first micro macro cross a first micro macro cross. And this is a pretty heavy position for me here. I don't think I want to go in quite that hard. Let's scale that back a little. There we go. I was wondering if you were in that trade. Mark says, this was a true test of my patience, but I forgot my first profit target, but I got my first profit target on the late filter in the Falcon. It seemed like it took an eternity. So that would be the signal right here, I think, is the one that Mark took. So your late filter entry signal, very strong signal on the Falcon. It occurs when your filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync. However, your trend line never changes color. And there you go, finally tagged it. Dan, you got the right idea. Dan says just patiently waiting. That is the hardest part on a day like today. And in fact, on days like today, sometimes it's advisable just to go into sim mode. If you're going to hang out and practice, maybe you pick up something. All right, so now the first micro macro cross signal engaged here in the hawk, and let's see if I can get up there to my profit target, if they'll give me that much. I think oh yes, the Raptor already signaled here earlier with that number 3 signal. Whoa, well you look at that, we actually got a little bit of a flurry of activity, and the market did get up there and find my profit target. Look at that. And Mark got his second target as well. Well, folks, that may be the move of the day. Wow, what a crazy session. Well, I got myself back to profitable territory with that one. Yeah, Mark says I got to cut back on the coffee. Yeah, days like today, you want to keep your wits about you. Well, they're still pushing higher. Yeah, Mark says it's a testament to the strength of that late filter entry signal. A very, very strong signal here on the Falcon, that late filter entry. So there's one there. Here's one right here. They don't usually occur that close together. In fact, I would not consider those separate. I would consider them one and the same. Oh, this was a textbook one right there. Great follow through. I think this was one before the filter went out, or the trend line went out of sync there for just a little bit. But yeah, when they print, you can pretty much expect that you're going to at least get your high probability profit objective. And sometimes it will lead even to much more than that. And here we are waiting. Oh dear. Wow, look at that. Look at them go. The buyer's just not letting go of the market, not at all. Makes me wish I had hung in a little bit longer with my scalp trade, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with getting your profit. So the market thinking that things are going to be a little bit more bullish here today, it seems. Wow. You know, when we started the day here, I didn't point it out because I didn't believe it. Trade forecaster saying that we were going to be in trend mode for however long it was. And I'm looking at the chart and it's looking like this. I'm thinking, oh, really? The trade forecaster is calling a trend? That was, part of the reason I brought my stop up as quickly as I did. But had I been a little bit more patient and trusted the trade forecaster, sure enough, there we go. I'm pretty sure, though, that this rally that we're experiencing right now, it doesn't seem right to call it a rally, but this price advance is probably all we're going to get today, I think. All right, getting or trying to get a little bearish, but trying to sell into this market, probably not the best idea. I just keep plodding along. Well, not much I can do with that at the moment. I'm just going to have to wait for the next opportunity, which could be a while. And now asking the question that is on everybody's mind. Eric, what do we do if we miss the entry and the market keeps trending? Well, you see, that's the problem with trading, is you never really know. You have to get to the point where you you trust your signals, and then it amounts to risk, controlling your risk. And I always used to say, Ray Burke would always ask me the same question. Well, Eric, how do you know which signal to take? Okay, well, this morning the band bullish, right? So we're going to favor buy signals. As soon as you eliminate the counter trend signals, you're probably immediately going to do a little bit better. Counter trend signals work, but the conditions have to be just right. So like here, this counter trend signal, this number 2 signal worked because, well, partially because the market was very overbought. You see how we had this really broad trading band. So when that number 2 signal prints, you may say, okay, this is going to be a better situation for a number 2 signal. I may give that one a try. This morning, it was difficult. There's no question about it. So we have a bullish trading band. So we're going to look primarily at buy signals. The market opens, produces a buy signal, produces a buy signal, produces a sell signal, comes back with yet another number 3 signal. How do we know this signal is going to go to the moon? Well, we don't. That's why we always have to protect ourselves. Now, you can protect yourself easiest by controlling your risk. Leaving yourself a reasonable stop, so I would consider that to be swing 1. This is swing 2, essentially the low of the day. If I can afford this trade, or pardon me, if I can afford this risk, then I take the trade. And it's really as simple as that. If you're looking at this and you're saying, oh, well, I don't know, the market's moving back and forth, I'll wait for a second push entry opportunity. It looks like this bar right here, the market retreated very, very deep. So at that point, you could have used that bar as your signal bar, and you probably could get by with a slightly tighter stop. And again, you would have another opportunity to get in on that trade. When the market is already underway and you haven't taken the entry, there's nothing you can do except wait for your next signal. Now, as frustrating as it is, you shouldn't let it get you down. I miss big moves all the time. Not purposely, of course, but it's just part and parcel of the trading, is that you're going to miss some moves. The temptation is just to jump in now and just buy, and that's not always the best solution. because of course you could end up buying at the top, at the reverse. Yeah, like Mark says, wait for the pullback and the next high probability signal. That's really all we can do. If the market is really unwinding quickly, if it's instead of taking 20 minutes to make this run, if this took 3 or 4 minutes, then I may take advantage of one of these discretionary signals, one of these follow-up signals. Just because there seems to be obvious market momentum, the market is unwinding very, very quickly, that's when you can use one of these signals. So if you missed the number 3 signal and you're thinking, oh, darn it, the market's running away on me because it's going bing, 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 really, really quickly. Then when you get one of your follow-up signals, then you can use that and you can say, all right, I'll buy in here and I'll risk it. If nowhere else, risk it at least to the hard edge. And that should give you a second chance to get into the trade. But the market is just moving so darn slow today. It's such a grind, it makes it really, really tough. Now, when you when you're in a market like this, there's very likely going to be a quick little move here somewhere just to entice some last minute buying just before the market reverses. And Dan's asking, what about trading the reversal you discussed last week since the cloud is so big? That is certainly something to keep a lookout for, Dan. So for those of you who missed it, we were talking about the big cloud reversal. Jim's not in the room this morning, but he was the one who first brought this to my attention. What he would do is he would look at the size of the cloud, and he recognized that when the cloud got to be about 40 ticks tall, so that would be 10 points on a market like the NASDAQ, and this worked for the NASDAQ and the mini Dow. When the market got to be about 40 ticks tall, it was more prone to a reversal. Now, Jim was very aggressive on the reverse. He wouldn't even wait for the signal. He would just look for a little swing, and then he would start shorting below that. So let's take a look here where the cloud got so broad before. This one actually printed a signal very early. He would either start selling the first bear bar or he would sell the first swing. He was very aggressive on the signal. I don't think I would go so far as to start selling the first bear bar, but you could look at a failure of a buy signal, or you could just wait for the number 2 signal to print, which it will if we don't take out these highs. So yes, Dan, I think it is a feasible trade. I don't think I would hold on too long. The ultimate target would be the hard edge of the trading band. But in spite of being very, very sluggish, the market is in an uptrend here today. So I think we need to respect that. So here we're now trading below the swing. Brutal. It's just brutal. If we got a signal here, I would short it to show you, but my goodness. Well, the good news is the FOMC minutes are out this afternoon. Tomorrow, the market should be a little bit more normal. I hesitate to say stuff like that. And that's why. Look at that. So the market's still retesting the highs. Honestly, I don't think we're going to get another tradable signal here this morning. Oh, hold on now. There's the number 2. All right, let's short it. Let's see whether we can get down to at least our high probability profit target. That would be the first zone. All right, come on now, play nice. Oh, come on. Just kissing the profit target there. Come on. Oh, really? Look at that. One tick. Just one tick away. Stinkers. Okay, so we got our first target. Next target is the hard edge here of the trading band. You could just throw a profit order in there, or in my case, well, why don't we do both? I'm squeezing the trade from the top with the bar high low strategy, really putting the screws to them, and I'll have a profit target down here near the hard edge as well. You can see I'm not giving this trade a whole lot of room. Break even would be fine, or for Scott, break even plus 2, so he can double his profit. Well, here we are, stuck. There was the big move down. Nope, wouldn't give it to us. Stinkers. All right. Well, I would expect the market to drift here a little bit lower. But, that said, the overall trend is still up. Honestly, though, until we get into past the FOMC minutes, sorry, I can't do two things at once. Until we get past the FOMC minutes, it's probably going to be more of the same. So we can thank Dan for that, spotting that trade, that the cloud got so overextended. Good call there, Dan. Way to pick up that reverse. And that actually made it a semi decent day. All right, gang, I think we're going to close up shop here a little bit early. Like I said, there's no point really trying to trade this. The market is just going to continue to grind back and forth. So I will see you tomorrow, and the market should be a little bit more responsive then. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.